Peace, peace. What's happening, world? It's your man, NFO Merc, right back at it. Part two of the Nick Cannon saga. Nick Cannon versus, the Mystery Man. I watched the interview with the rabbi. He came on there and he interviewed, Nick interviewed him, and it was a whole lot of hand greasing. I don't know what to call it, man. This is right. All right. Now, so much stuff I want to say. So much stuff I want to say. How do I want to begin? What I thought was interesting on that interview is that the rabbi referenced the protocols of the elders of Zion, and he then said that we wrote a book debunking it. Right, that's all in the interview. I will put some snippets in there, and so forth, and some other snippets in there also. Right, you're gonna hear something constant in this interview between Nick Cannon and the rabbi, and the hate of evil. That is the rabbi's words. Then Nick Cannon would say the hate of white supremacy. I would try to look into that. If you watch the whole interview, I didn't think I put the clip in this particular thing, but if you watch the whole interview, he said we were all, this the rabbi, he said we were all, he was talking about the plight of the Jewish people, and if they didn't have survivors, then where would they be at today? We would be all looking down this black hole. We were all looking down the black hole, right? So keep that in mind. I just thought that was odd. This is me listening to someone's free choice of words and wondering why did they pick these words, right? Um, what else is in there that I might bring up and so forth? And he had a constant crosshairs on Farrakhan, the rabbi. That what was also interesting in this interview, the rabbi was the reason for Public Enemy's breakup, right? That was also in there. So he also has a Griff in the crosshairs. Wonder why. Seems to be something consistent here. Then there's another thing. The rabbi, someone asked me what gives the rabbi the qualifications in order to be, interviewed as the one that sets the record straight and so forth. Well, this rabbi works for I think I'll put the clip in here also. Bang.
He has some accolades that we'd be here all day if we started to list them all. But currently, the director of global action at the Simon Wiesenthal Center, Rabbi Abraham Cooper. How you doing, sir?
Doing fine.
Even in COVID, we shaking. We got hand sanitizer.
Well,
We checked our temperatures and everything. We good.
Can't really tame former New Yorkers.
I would say from the streets of Brooklyn, right?
That's right.
Oh man, like I said, there's so many places where we can begin, but
Right, means that with us, whatever we choose to call ourselves, right? All right, I'll go with the golden people, right? With us, the golden people, right? We try to mimic everything they do with their fashion and everything, right? This is why the mystery men move in mystery, because they know how to bring things into manifestation, how to manifest thoughts thoughts and ideas into reality. You know what I'm saying? And so this is what they do. So the guy works for a council, a world, something or the other, or global something or the other, and he's talking about this museum of tolerance, right? Now, museum of tolerance, and this is where you take people outside of the Jewish culture to a museum with all the Jewish artifacts of their plight, right? Holocaust. They like to talk about the Holocaust, right? So I would say to the Holocaust that if we rewind time to, let's say, 2020, black people are currently going through a Holocaust. The fact that we label a group of people black in a political timing where political meanings and all political everything sets the tide. So these political men sat in a political atmosphere and came up with a political name that was suit the golden people, and they called them black people, right? Now, when Malcolm X awoken, he changed his name from his prior name to Malcolm X. The X was unknown because he was aware that his last name was the claim that the people who stole the golden people had put upon us, right? So when he became awake, everything changed, and he changed his name, and the X represents unknown. The X is also symbolic to black. So in a political sense, when you say that black, you're tying into a political sense of nothing, to a sense of you can be owned, you can be bought, you can be claimed. You are prescribing directly to the 3/5 of a man's persona, right? If it were to me to describe myself, I am a man, nothing more, nothing less. Anything you put before and after what you really are, weakens that. You see what I'm saying? If I say I'm a rich man, then you know to attack my money. If I say I'm a poor man, then you see what I'm saying? I'm giving you. If I'm a black man, you know what the problems are that come with it. If I am a Jewish man, you instantly know everything about it. I gave you more to just being a man. But if I say I'm a man, then what does that mean? That means I need everything that a man needs. You understand what I'm saying? That's it. That's it. Do not let them trick you with useless words. This is in the protocols of Zion. He is going to try to debunk the protocols of Zion. But we can just use our powers of observation and see that how can you debunk what is being seen and said and done and so forth? He has a committee of watchdogs. This is how he's able to cancel the Public Enemy. This is how he's probably the one that canceled Farrakhan for being on YouTube. We got to look into that. I guarantee you, it's probably from that same agency that he works from because of these things. So another thing too, Nick Cannon saying stuff like, "I hate white supremacy," right? And the funny thing about saying you hate white supremacy to a pale rabbi, right, to a blue-eyed rabbi, is that he has the benefit of running around under the white supremacy. You see what I'm saying? White supremacy is the benefit of the doubt. White supremacy is sticking your hand out on a busy street and the cab stop for you. White supremacy is where your house is, just from when you and you had no choice. And where were you born? Where was this at? He says stuff like where something, and it doesn't matter about the zip code because he also tried to go at Guns N' Roses also, right? So that's just his thing to say that I wasn't just going at black people or rap music. I also went at Guns N' Roses at the same time because I heard what I heard and I took it. He's going in like that. So he's showing you this, and he named the company after a living legend who was a Jew who survived the Holocaust, and he referred to him as the Nazi hunter, right? So they like to use all these little parables and metaphors, right? Nazi hunter. You see what I'm saying? We, as the golden people who have been led astray, who have been weakened by the integration of all these other races and all these other ideals put on the original man, right? When you see what's going on. So he said the Nazi hunter. So the Nazi, clearly in that terminology, we already know vicious group of men. And the hunter, that means he's equally as vicious or slightly more vicious. You understand what I'm saying? As a matter of fact, he had to be a living legend and to be considered a Nazi hunter. That must mean that the Nazis can hear what he was saying, they would deem it as hate speech. You understand what I'm saying? The biggest problem, it's so evident, so evident. Listen. I watched Farrakhan's speech on 4th of July, and I watched Professor Griff on Nick Cannon, and I watched the Rabbi on Nick Cannon, and I watched Farrakhan, and I watched Griff, and I didn't walk around and say, wow, those guys hate Jews. I didn't leave that with that. I didn't even really, you understand what I'm saying? Now, the Jews and Muslims are at war, right? And they are similar. The wordings, the greetings, they got a lot of similar attributes in the religion. I'm sorry, right? Now, when you go into the Quran, and most Qurans are written in Arabic, and then right next to it, on the same page, but there's like a line going down in one page. Half the page is in Arabic, and then right next to it is the English translation of what is written in Arabic, right? And a few times you will see in parentheses, especially Christians and Jews, right? So the Muslims have their foot on the neck of the Jew. You understand what I'm saying? That makes it a problem to the Jew. Farrakhan represents the Muslim, is in his belief, is in his construction of the religion in which he claimed. You understand what I'm saying? Boom. Then the rabbi says that to hear him, what made it anti-rhetoric, made it anti-Semitic, was to hear him say that Farrakhan says, because if you listen to what is going on, this is what I'm saying. If you listen to what's going on, Farrakhan will break down his definition of Semitism or anti-Semitism and the origin of the Jew. He would give you facts and dates and books and everything, all these different things. As Nick Cannon was talking to the rabbi, Nick Cannon is swarmed up with books. He got his arms on top of the book. The rabbi comes with no book. Farrakhan puts challenges after challenge after challenge, debate, anything. How come instead of putting up, this is anti-Semitic, why don't you go up there with the facts and bomb him with the facts? You get up there and say, my problem with him is that he does this, he says I'm not a real Jew. Well, he's rewinding time. Not right here where you want to stop at and right where you want to claim. No, let's rewind it a little further back. And then you're going to see that everybody was black first, bro. So what you arguing about? What you going to deny that? So what are you saying? So when he says that he's mad at Farrakhan for calling him it said it hit home when he said he's not a real Jew. Now, you know what hits home? Me sitting at home watching a grown man outside of my race kill a young member of my race and go home scotch-free. You know what makes me feel weird? Whenever I'm in my car, I got a license, insurance, registration, everything you need to be on the road. I'm a grown man. I don't play no games. And the cops get behind me, I get scared. Still, I could come outside and see police activity, and they say, get your ass in that house. And I'm turning around and going in the house. I don't want no trouble with them. I had enough abuse, enough contact. I have been, listen. So, with that said, right? He's mad at him for saying that. So, what white supremacy likes to do is control the narrative. You understand what I'm saying? So here it is. Professor Griff might be on Donahue doing what Farrakhan might be on Donahue doing what he does, and then someone of the Caucasian persuasion may ask Farrakhan something like, "Hey, from something like that, you sound like Hitler. One can compare you to Hitler." And Farrakhan, not one to shy away from a confrontation, says, well, Hitler was a great man. He rose Germany from ashes and did this and did that. He can be a great man, but he can't be a good. He can't. One can be great, but one can't be good under the definition and the contents in which he set forth. They did not let him live to this day. This happened on Donahue, so you could do the timestamp. You understand? To this day, they still quoting, oh, he referred to Hitler as a great man. You see? Now, here goes another fact about Hitler. Do you know that Hitler was, okay, yes, Hitler was in love with his race as the WASP, right? White Anglo-Saxon, something, I forget what the P means. We can Google that later, right? Aryan. Then there's Jew. Then there's black. Then there's all the other ones that come, right? Chinese, so forth, right? Boom. Orientals or Asians, I guess, whatever. Indians and so forth, right? So all these different races. So with white supremacy being the veil of power that one who looks white can receive, right? It happens all over the place. So now, as we can see it happening in the black community with the light skins versus the dark skin, we can see it happening in the Asian community. Everyone who travels says that they have dark-skinned Italians, Asians, pretty much the whole list. Dominicans, Puerto Ricans, so forth. But when they get on TV, they always tend to give you the more white and complected side of that race. So now people who don't know anything about Asia, who don't know anything about Dominicans or whatever like that, will only think that they, we watch Telemundo, we watch this, and we only seeing them looking like whites. You know what I'm saying? But when you go to the land, you see people actually, they say they just got some Japanese in Japan with afros and they the same eye textures or eye shapes, but they got African skin and froze and so forth. This is whatever people to prove that what we call Chinese martial arts actually came from African martial arts. This yoga actually came from Africa. So we can rewind the tape, and we don't have to stop at the pillagers who are claiming it. We have enough sense to go past that. You see what I'm saying? So, don't mind you, these people are invaders. They like to control the narrative. Let's keep it moving. In Brooklyn, August 1991, Eastern Parkway, Brooklyn. The rabbi also liked to claim that he's from Brooklyn. He's older than me. He lived through these times. He rep Brooklyn. He's older than me. He lived through these times. I can guarantee if he was worried about what
I would say from the streets of Brooklyn, right?
That's right.
Oh, man.
Public Enemy was saying on the radio, I guarantee you he was very worried about what was going on the ground at this particular time, August 19th, 1991, Brooklyn, New York, Eastern Parkway. Two golden children were crossing the street, age 7, on Eastern Parkway, was struck by a Hasidic Jew. I don't know what the difference is. This is what self-described. This is what the news coverage covered it as. As a matter of fact, run the clip.
Observing the vibrant present of Crown Heights, Brooklyn.
Crown Heights is a wonderful place.
But also looking back at racially fueled violence and lawlessness that this neighborhood endured 25 years ago.
Today is a day of reflection.
This anniversary gathering included Carmel Cato.
I appreciate all the good things that all the different people are doing.
Cato's 7-year-old son, Gavin, was struck and killed by a car from a motorcade carrying the Lubavitcher Rebbe, Menachem Schneerson, sparking clashes during which 29-year-old Jewish scholar Yankel Rosenbaum was stabbed to death. A quarter-century later, Cato's dad and Rosenbaum's brother Norman are bonded by tragedy and share hopes for peace. But at today's anniversary events, Rosenbaum was a conspicuous no-show. He was not here for speeches, candles, and a march on Kingston Avenue.
That march brought them here to Park Place next to Brower Park for an anniversary festival designed to provide fun and unity.
And it is the festival part of the program that has Rosenbaum bristling.
Just totally inappropriate. Inappropriate.
He stayed home to avoid seeing games and arts and crafts.
This is not a time for cotton candy. This is not a time for rides and amusements.
Mr. Rosenbaum's not here. Do you wish he was?
Yes.
Why?
It's to show the love.
Right? Now, what we got to see right there is that what happened, right? What they didn't really pretty much tell you, what happened is that the person in the vehicle killed kids that were not in vehicles. One died on the scene. One was fighting in critical for her life. The ambulance came and the driver was treated in a separate hospital. What they're not telling you is that a Jewish ambulance pulled up with Hebrew writing all over it. They did not tend to the fallen children. They proceeded to tend to the man in the vehicle. The people outside who were golden were saying, "Yo, the kids." That's what caused the riot. Remember now, you want to create it to go one way, you set something that looks like an equal footing, and then you give one side more, and then you let them go from there. That's what happened. So as a result from that, someone got stabbed up. A Jewish kid had got stabbed and lost his life as a result of that. From that right there, you see what I'm saying? And so they talk about white supremacy and evil, both in one swipe. How did the ambulance know that those kids were not Jewish? I'll wait. So that was white supremacy, right? What was evil? Evil was seeing the kids in life and death need. The man in the vehicle was cloaked with metal. That metal that he was cloaked in struck human beings, and now they are not here and possibly fighting for their life. I think the daughter, sister, or the other kid, I strongly believe that they survived. I'm not sure, but I think they survived. I was young. I wasn't really too aware of what was going on. But as I grew up in the streets of Brooklyn, when I found myself in Crown Heights and we walked through those neighborhoods, you could tell you in that neighborhood because of the Hebrew writing that's all through there. It just slips right in, just streams lining right into Brooklyn, right into Jamaicans and all of that, right there, bloop. On everything, the hospitals, the billboards, everything is written in Hebrew. Every day at a certain time, you see them come out. They cross the streets in droves. We just like that. And if I get caught walking through there, this is back in like early 2000s, 2000 to 2005. As recent as that. When I was walking through those streets, somebody told me, like, yo, be careful around there. You know, the Jewish kids, that, you know, they'll jump you if they catch you out there by yourself and all that and so forth. And I'm quite sure on the other side, they telling they folks the same thing. You understand what I'm saying? So, with that said, here goes another thing. Now, me, NFO Merc, will have to say that what I have discovered on my journey, right, is that we all don't have the same God. You understand what I'm saying? It's disrespectful to the force that went in to making you, to think that it went in to make someone who naturally hates you. You understand what I'm saying? It is evident, right, that if I am giving myself love and my lineage love and my history love, everything that rabbi is up there condemning and being mad about is the same thing he's happy he got. You understand what I'm saying? He's happy he has a history, like he could prove that they was fighting and they did this and they got that and they did so good that they don't live in no ghetto. They did so good that the media don't feed off them. They did so good that the Holocaust, that bloodlust that come from their lesser brethren, right? that bloodlust can be now carried out on any group of people, any gender of people, and it becomes the norm.
To really correct me. So I believe more than saying I'm sorry, which I am. I'm sorry for causing pain, hurt to people. But I need to learn how not to do that anymore.
Right.
And that's why I appreciate this discourse. We've already talking, but we're gonna get to it. But my first question for you is, how did we get here?
We got here because the Simon Wiesenthal Center, one of its main focuses, not exclusive, but main, is dealing with anti-Semitism, which unfortunately, even before the pandemic and everything else that's happened since, we were having major violent attacks against New York Jews on the streets of New York and New Jersey, in the last couple of months. So we took the name, or we got the name of a living legend when he was still alive. His name was Simon Wiesenthal, the great Nazi hunter, man who resurrected justice.
That you actually knew personally.
I had the honor to know for almost 3 decades. And someone who came from a group, the survivors of the Nazi Holocaust, 6 million Jews. He lost 89 members of his family.
Wow.
He was too weak to stand when the American troops in Mauthausen came. He weighed 90 pounds.
Wow.
If I don't like talking about victimhood and victimization, but if there was ever a group of people who had the moral right to say the world is horrible, they knew what was going on, they did nothing, it was the people who stumbled out of those camps. And amazingly, people like Wiesenthal and the others, that generation, bestowed a special gift to all humanity because they re-embraced life.
Right.
But when you
Leadership is built on trust. Joe Biden led the Recovery Act, saved millions of jobs.
And these people who are heavy with power that can cancel people at will would sit back and act like nothing is happening. So you can cancel Public Enemy for rapping reality, but you can't cancel cops for killing us. You can't cancel. So we need a committee that we could police every image that comes through the TV. Do you know how many shows wouldn't be showing no more? Do you know there won't be no such thing as Love and Hip Hop if the Golden People had the same committee, had the same respect as that committee, that we could come in there and just be like, whoa, he called that one he called my sister a bitch. He raped my sister on camera. No, we're not having that. We're not doing this. The news constantly shows this. But I live in a white neighborhood and I see white people shooting white people all the time. Do you know how often white people rob banks? Yeah. The company that I work for, which was also white supremacy. Which was also functioning and flourishing through the guise of white supremacy, right? They were subcontracted to PMC banks, and we were the cleanup boys. And you know how many times we had to clean up from all types of successful robberies from banks? But the camera doesn't show that. Why doesn't the camera show that? Because the camera doesn't want to motivate you and me to go do that same crime. Do you know white people fall in love? So if white people fall in love, that means that white people kill each other. Don't you understand that? So this is what it is. White people go to war. We can't even put Black Lives Matter on the street. We can't walk down the street with our pants sagging, with our hair dreaded, with tattoos showing, with music playing, with gold teeth. We can't do nothing. So the Holocaust is on us right now. We are living through a Holocaust to this day. Nick Cannon also went through a digital Jim Crow situation right there, and boy, oh boy, was he putting on the smiles, was he laying on the jokes. You would swear that the rabbi was wearing a leotard. Yeah, they're flirting. and yeah, and this and that, and I love everybody, and I this, that, and the third, and we got when you faced with dark evil, you must go only way you could combat the darkest of evils with love. I'm like, what, with love? All right, okay, we're gonna combat the darkness of evil with love. I'm a slave, because I can't. Every time we bring up evil, I instantly go into slavery. I can't think of nothing evil more. I can't think of nothing more evil than slavery, than the perversion and the lust of making more slave shows, and every time you could just keep peeling off and showing us a new thing they was doing, a new way they was treating us, a new way of pain, and they could just put it on TV, and me would cry and they would laugh. Don't you understand? So how can we have the same God if I'm bringing up my brother because I'm big enough to do it, and that makes you mad? Something's wrong. You understand what I'm saying? So don't let them lie to you. What is going on here is that these people secretly own everything. And how do you know they own it? You know who you talking to the owner is when you start to get beside yourself. And they yank the plug for me. Nick Cannon said, well, we don't want to continue Jewish stereotypes with you guys having the money and the power. So why would you cancel me to continue the stereotype of money and power because I said something that appeared to be this way to you? When all I'm saying is this and this and that. I wasn't even aware that I was doing that. It's amazing. It's amazing. So when you know that you don't have the same God, you won't necessarily follow the same cultural norms. You don't see things the same way. You don't hear things the same way. It's just naturally, like you want to say, in your DNA. Your DNA is the fingerprint of your creator. Whatever it is, they say, oh, we can find this in DNA and we can find that and this, that, and the third. In that same conversation, they're going to bring up a Jewish gene. You understand what I'm saying to you, man? So, your DNA is the fingerprint of your creator. You understand what I'm saying? So, my God did not create them. It is evident because of the way they are created. Can't you see? It's simple. Just like a Kia, a Acura, a Buick, a Benz, so forth. There's all the iPhone and there's the Droid, and you can't stick the same charger in there. This is it. So, but yeah, you can call each other. Yeah, they touch screens. Yeah, they can do similar things. We got similar functionalities, but the fingerprint of my creator, this is where it differs. This is where it goes left. You understand? And we keeping it alive. We showing the God of the Droid and the God of the iPhone. We, the people, turning these things into that. And this is how it goes. And they understand that. The protocols of the learned elders of Zion. What is the learned? The learned is the mind. They understand the mind. The freeing of the slave was the perfect. They understood that we conditioned these group of people well enough that they were captive slaves, and we can now free them. Everything that was done to an animal was done to black people. Everything that was done to an animal was done to the golden people, and upon the completion of that, you now have black people. They call me Merc, by the way, man. This is a half hour long with the clips. So holla at me, man. I felt like I knocked them out the box, man. I knocked them out the box, man. Hit the like. Man, just wish me peace on my journey. I'm going to keep absorbing it and giving it back to you. I love what I do, man. So I hope this is well. I hope this was informative. I hope I get y'all some game. As a matter of fact, before I leave, let me read a little bit of the protocols of science. You see, because the man said he wrote a bunk in it, but he ain't bring the book with him. Why he ain't bring the book? Why would you bring it up if you ain't bring the book? You see what I'm saying? They got a committee. Remember the watchwords and all that. Now remember, their anti-Semitism is indispensable to us for the management of the lesser brethren. The lesser brethren is their white counterpart, right? The anti-Semitism is indispensable. You know what indispensable means? Required, mandatory. Let me read it. Let me get it right for y'all, so y'all don't think I'm just making up words on my Jesse Jackson. Wow. Indispensable.
Indispensable.
He made himself indispensable to the parish priest, essential, crucial, necessary, key, vital, needed, required, requisite, important, all important, of the essence, critical, life and death, imperative, mandatory. So that is what is needed. Their anti-Semitism is indispensable. Nick Cannon is sitting there asking, what is it? What does that mean? I don't even know. How, where, what, how. I'm quite sure Farrakhan is probably saying the same thing. And this is what forces Farrakhan to now go into the etymology of the word, breaking it down, letting you know that this is foolery. It's what they are trying to do is an illusion, it's a trick, it is an invader, it is you waking up and me inviting you in my house, and somehow you wake up, I wake up downstairs on the couch, and you upstairs in my room, and you telling me, yeah, well, this, that, and the third, and yeah. And now I'm the guest and you the thing, and you hitting me with, you giving me all the amenities that were reserved for you, and you taking all the rights that were reserved to me. How did you get there? Through murder, through evil deeds. Come on, man. And then what was another thing? You cannot. Why? This is what he told Nick Cannon. What the conversation you have with Griff was cool at a coffee table or you know, off camera. You see what I'm saying? But on cam, no. He said you are learning in real time, and that is tragic. What is tragic about that is because there is no way for a black man to come back to golden, and on that journey of going from black back to golden. And he knocked down the white man. And when he knocked the white man, he knocked Jesus down. And then he buck up on the Jew. And when you learning and you're growing, it's a zealousness that comes with it. It's in human nature to teach. And then we will come out and we will point and tell and try to say. And then the Jew will say, bad boy. Get you a backlash and have you over there. Oh, I don't want to go back. Please let me come back in. Please. And he apologized. Someone asked me, do I think he should apologize? Me personally, I don't know. You know, who knows who's end game at the end of the day, man. You know, people like to throw this term around, sell out. Is anyone a sellout? Everyone's a sellout. Everyone sells out, right? There's no real good, it's 1% of all the percentage of ways to make money. It's like 1% of all that percent to make a good, healthy, organic, clean dollar. But the inception of the dollar, right? People say that money is the root of all evil, right? It's the root of all evil because the intent and the deception behind it was to spring in more, to absorb everything from you while giving you this fake piece of paper. Everything that is exchanged for money is realer than the money that has been exchanged for it. Money is an idea between the people who have power and the people who don't have power. So that's just what it is. So it's a tool designed by them. And money is really the extension of the slave whip. You know, if you like the way I'm putting this thing together, I think I'm enjoying it. I want to write a book. I'm in process of writing a book. Hit the like button if you think you're going to buy that book. You understand what I'm saying? I'm signing off with that right there. I don't know. I don't like saying peace at the end of my things anymore, for real. So, you know, power to the people. Stay dangerous. One. Oh yeah, one more thing. I was bringing up the God and the evils, right? How you know we don't have the same God because of the cultural norms, right? So if your cultural norm is this, and then my cultural norm then my culture gets a peek into your cultural norm, and I'm saying, wow. You know, so you could be doing something that you have been raised and conditioned to do and don't see anything wrong with it. But when other cultures get a peek at it, you know, we have to say, what is that? And I'm not going to call this particular function any names, you know? So you be the judge. You tell me what it is. But, you know, I'm afraid to say. Sorry, I don't even want to talk about it. But I'm not going to say it. I'm going to just run the clip and then let you use your own better judgment. With that said, power to the people.
Now with her special report, Cradle of Secrets.
It's a topic that not many people want to talk about, but an unlikely whistleblower, a young Orthodox Jewish woman, is now speaking out, claiming a local rabbi is infecting babies, making them sick. And what's worse, she says no one is doing anything to stop him. For centuries, when a Jewish baby boy is born, the ancient ritual of circumcision is performed. But in some ultra-Orthodox communities, religious leaders, known as moyals, also engage in something controversial during the bris. In a practice known as Metzitza B'Peh, or just MBP, the moil actually uses his mouth to suck the blood from the infant's penis after he cuts off the foreskin. Meant to prevent infection and serve as a celebration of life.